the Royal Yacht Britannia, the Queen's much-loved favourite.
If you arrive in Edinburgh by ship, you might be lucky enough to be at the New Ocean Terminal. Buses are easy. 35 is the bus to Holyrood Palace and Arthur's Seat. 22 is the fast bus to Princes Street, which is the modern shopping area. From the adjacent Debenhams Britannia View restaurant, you can see the #1 attraction, the Royal Yacht Britannia. It's magnificent. This is a Lego model of the Britannia. It's built using no glue and 40,000 Lego pieces. Before you enter the yacht, there is an exhibition which is extremely interesting. There are examples of uniforms worn by the sailors. Very attractive. This chart shows you the captain, who's under him, and then in that department, who's under them. It's a very clever way of doing it. The officer of the watch would be in overall charge, and there would also be a lookout and a signalman stationed here when the ship was at sea. This is the bridge, and this is the Admiral's chair. Apart from the Admiral, everyone else will be expected to be upstanding. The bridge was the control point of the Britannia. Most of the equipment you see here was originally fitted in 1953. In the middle of the floor is the ship's binnacle and gyro compass used to navigate Britannia. Attached to each binnacle is a blue pipe with a chrome lid. These are the voice pipes that connect to the wheelhouse on the deck below. This is the wheelhouse. It was originally situated on the deck below the bridge from where the Britannia was commanded. This is where the Queen and Prince Philip used to stand and wave at the crowds as they came into the port. You can just imagine it, can't you? This is a free audio guide, it's very good, and if you bring headphones with you, you can plug it in and listen through your headphones. This is the Admiral's dining room. When the royal family were on board, he'd take his meals with them, but when they weren't, he'd take his meals in here so that his men could relax. This is the galley where the meals were prepared. Very spick and span. This is the garage that was built to house the royal car. This is the royal deck, which now has a tea room. There's a great view from here. The service is friendly. In fact, all the staff that work on the yacht were helpful and informative. This is the veranda deck where the royal family would sunbathe. They sometimes had a portable swimming pool up here. They played quoits. They held their receptions up here. And behind me, I can see there's a bar in the background, so that's very well placed. There's also a compass that has been passed down from royal ship to royal ship. It was originally on the George. This compass dates back to 1815. We're in the tea room now. Outside on the veranda deck, Prince Philip would often take his easel and paint. And there's some beautiful photos in here of Princess Margaret. This was one of the Queen's favourite rooms, and she would often come and take tea here and look out at that stunning view. This is the Queen's bedroom with lots of personal bits and pieces. There are family photos on the dressing table. It's a single bed, and the room is adjoining to Prince Philip's bedroom, which is a carbon copy but more masculine layout. There's a little corgi sitting on the bed, not a real one. This guest room has the only double bed on the yacht. Prince Charles had it brought here for his honeymoon with Princess Diana. So you would walk down the staircase and then you would either go to the dining room, where actually today they still hold corporate functions, or you could go to the sitting room, which is this way. The Queen originally requested an open coal fire in this room. You can see it's very cosy. There's a puzzle on the table, half done. But as Navy practice required that a sailor had to be on call with a fire bucket at all times, they put in an electric one. Did you get where the corgi was? This baby grand piano cost £350 in 1952, and Noel Coward actually played it. It's bolted to the deck to stop it falling over in choppy seas. Here is a model of the ship, which is quite beautiful. Some light refreshment and a board game. The yachtsmen who have worked on the Britannia are known as yachties. This is the state dining room, and this is where the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh entertained all their guests aboard the yacht. As I mentioned before, the ship is frequently used for corporate functions. The sumptuous banquets which the Queen and Prince Philip enjoyed with such esteemed guests as Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher and Nelson Mandela are replicated. It must be an amazing experience. Everywhere you look, there are displays helping you to imagine what it was like.
Although this is known as the Queen's sitting room, it's really more of an office. And look, there's a corgi hidden just on the end of the desk there.
The Queen obviously loves photos of her family. They are everywhere.
There's a photo on the desk of the Queen Mother. It's a beautiful one. I'm just going into the officers' room now. This is where the officers would relax, watch the television, play games, have a chat. The rest of the crew weren't allowed down here. This was strictly like a gentleman's club, really, for the office. Competition with the corgis is taken from a game they played with that wooden monkey there, which nobody was allowed to touch, but mysteriously moved around the yacht.
Here is the officers' dining room.
This is the room where the officers would gather to have their evening meal.
The officers were dressed in the Red Sea rig, traditional naval uniform at sea. A number of junior yachtsmen were naval stewards, and it was their job to serve the delicious cuisine prepared in the spotless galley. This is the Royal Galley. This galley is still used to cater for corporate events.
This is the sergeant's mess, and look what I've just found. This is the sailors' bedrooms through there and all the bunks. Oh wow. So there's the sailors' bunks. This is where the Royal Marines lived and slept. These are their bunk beds, and I can see another corgi.
Everything had to be pristine.
This is the unwinding room, and this was for the junior ratings. It was their recreational space. I'm good, thank you.
Good. And you enjoyed going around the yacht?
It's fantastic, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. That whiskey fudge is gorgeous, actually. So I've got my bag of fudge. This is the warrant officers and chief petty officers mess. There are a lot of pubs on this yacht, aren't there? These are the cabins. This tiny room is the mail office, where all the mail came to for the sailors.
This is the place where no one wanted to visit, the hospital. There's the operating table.
We just saw the operating theatre, and now we're in the laundry. Look at this trouser press. That's for keeping your hats pristine. And there's a collar ironing machine. Here's a shirt, collar and cuff press. And these are the tumble dryers. I should imagine it was very hot in here. Another corgi. Hello, sailor.
The engine room is absolutely gleaming. One American who visited the ship was heard to say, "Okay, so where's the real engine room?" But no, this is it.
This is the supply office. So this is like a serving hatch, and you collect your dinner here and then take it into the canteen. So the lower decks were home to the junior ratings. They all slept in the same dormitories. You might be wondering where they got washed. Well, these are the bathrooms for the junior ratings. This Royal Yacht Britannia is well worth a visit, and it's easy to see why the Queen was so fond of it, and imagine what fun the family had here. You have to admire a tourist facility that respects the power of social media. Look at this. Thanks for inviting Doris to visit, and check out Doris Visits on YouTube for lots more interesting places.